Hi, I'm doing Paul McWhorter's Pico W lessons, and we're currently up to lesson number 43, when he wanted us to see if we could get the MPU 6050 to register naught X, Y and Z acceleration to all be naught, which normally the Z acceleration, if you have it lying on the desk, the Z acceleration is close to 1 because of gravity, 1g. So I thought to myself, right, I need to find somewhere where there's no gravity. So I rang up the European Space Agency to see if I could borrow their zero gravity cabin. And they said, yeah, that's fine, but they didn't have a slot for me until mid-December, which will be a bit late for these classes, so I thought I'd have to have another plan. So this is plan B. I have got a post, a stick, sellotaped to the beam at the top, and then it comes down, and I've got my Pico there, and it's sellotaped to a kind of pipe to stop it falling anywhere, and hopefully that would be a soft enough landing, because I don't want to smash my poor Pico into bits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it up to the top like that, drop it, keep my fingers crossed and see whether anything happens. And if this doesn't work, I'm not going to do it again because I don't want to smash up my Pico. So this is just the program from lesson 40, which is very simple. It just prints out the accelerations, and then if you have plotter on, it's easier to see. In this case, it isn't Z that is currently at 1. It is that Y or X? Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's because I've got it on its end, because I thought it was better to slide it down the pole rather than just drop it. Anyway, here we go. We will run the program. Yeah, it's Y. It's Y that is up there. So, fingers crossed. Up it goes. Now, is that a soft enough landing? I hope so. You get there. Right. 1, 2, 3, go. Right. And I'll stop that. And right, we'll have a look. This is where it already landed. Ah, look. That was where it was falling. And for a very short time they're all about naught, wherever it is. Maybe I need to go a bit further back. Ah yes, just there. They're all pretty low, so I consider that a success, well, as long as I haven't smashed my Pico W to pieces. And stay tuned, I'll be adding something else to this video, but I'm stopping now. Hi, I'm back. Now, just a quick recap on my solution to the Pico W lesson number 41. I was using one Pico W as a server that had the MPU 6050 on, and then I was using another Pico W as a client, which was getting the angles, and then it was flying my little planes. I had 3 little planes. One was doing pitch, one was doing roll, and one was doing yaw. But yaw was fake because I couldn't get it properly. Anyway, the reason why I decided to use 2 Picos was, one, to prove that I was a smart ass, and the other was because Paul's obviously going to be using the little OLED display and for future lessons to do with the MPU 6050, and it's difficult enough to see what's going on the little OLED display, let alone when you're moving it around, getting the angles. So that's why I did it. Now, we have terrible internet, and it's got much worse recently, and it one day actually dropped out about 30 times, and we have no mobile phone coverage either. And recently the router has actually been resetting itself, even if I'm using it without internet, just to be able to connect my two Pico Ws. It's been dropping out. Therefore, I decided I'd have to dispense with the router completely for this lesson, or maybe forever, and I needed to connect the two Pico Ws without using the router. So I thought of using one of the Pico Ws as an access point. Now, the advantages of that is that if you're somewhere where you have no internet and no mobile signal, you can connect them together, and you don't. Now, this is the code for the server of my original program, not using the AP access point. Sorry. Now, this is just connecting the server, and it's connecting to in that is connecting to my home network. And then if you look at the client, what it does there is it's getting the server address, and I've done it by name, so I've actually had to name my Pico W, the server Pico W, on my router, or other people seem to have hard coded in the IP address of the server. Whether or not they've given it a static IP address or not, I don't know, but you don't have to do that if you're using your Pico W as an access point. All you have to do is start running your access point, and then your second Pico W, the client, needs to connect to the network created by the Pico, and everything works fine. Now, I created a test program just to give a vague idea as to what's happening, which is here. Now, in this program, no flying plates. It's just that I'm creating the access point, and then I'm listening for anyone to connect to it, and the connection is via a web page, which seemed to work well. So I will just show you what it does. I will run this. Right, access point mode is active, and the IP address to connect to is 192.168.4.1. I thought, yeah, okay. So if I go into my my network connections, I'm currently connected to my router via Ethernet cable. But if I go into Wi-Fi, I'll turn that on, and as if by magic, I've got another SSID there, Pico W AP. So if you click on that and connect, it doesn't actually stop doing that, but it connects anyway. So we'll go on to here and new tab. So if I go into, it said 192.168.4.1, so I believe it. And this is not a great web page, but it's just saying it's connected to the access point. It doesn't update, you have to update it itself. But if you say you tip that a bit and you update it and tip it a bit, so the role ought to change, yeah, everything's working. Now that is just a very silly web page to demonstrate that I am connecting. Now, because I'm connected by Ethernet, hopefully.
Hello guys,
Yep,
this is
you
Paul
may
McWhorter
recognize
with
him.
TopTechBoy.
Yep, that still works. And if I actually, I haven't tried this before, if I disconnect my Ethernet cable, therefore I'm only connected to the Pico thing. Hopefully we'll click on that, yep, it's still working. So that proves you don't need the internet at all to be able to connect to this web page. But I will plug back in if I can, just because I'm happy to be connected. Right, so that was my little, sorry, I was underneath my desk. That was my little sample program. So we'll get rid of that, and it just tells you information of who's been connecting and everything. Now, this won't work for some reason. I cannot get my iPad to connect to it, but I wouldn't want to connect to this stupid web. I think the iPad is too intelligent to want to connect to a stupid web page like that. But I have tried it. I mean, I'm running this program through Thronny on my PC, and I can connect on my little laptop downstairs, so everything seems to work. So we'll stop that there, and we'll go into not that one. This is the real one. Now, this is exactly the same as my other program for lesson 41. That's a server, apart from it's setting up the access point, which I will explain. Right, I'm setting up a new network that's called Pico W with Pico Pass, and you just go in access point equals that, and you configure it with the SSID and the password, and you say it's true, and then that just waits until it activates itself, and then you're setting up your connection with the other Pico W by using I'll show you what it does. Right, we'll run this. Right, oh, it didn't actually show all the configs, but anyway, the IP address is I think I've got it here. Yep, if you do ifconfig, then you'll get that that would be 192.168.4.1, and then 255.255.255.0, blah 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 blah, and that is the details of the network that you've created. But now it's just ready to connect to, and then this is the initial, the original lesson number 41, where you're just waiting for someone to request the information. That's all very simple. Right, so now I have got, just show you the servo side of it. Whoops. A client which is running the servo to fly my little planes. Now, I've not changed a lot. I've changed, because I'm using a pitch and roll servo thing that I bought. I the max pitch can only be 60, otherwise it's like with a camera, you can't go down very far, otherwise it will crunch itself. Now here I'm just connecting to the Pico W, and then after it's connected to the Pico W, cunningly, I don't need to put in this get address info with a name, which is lucky because I don't know how to name something on my little private network, or the IP address. You can actually get it from, if you do an ifconfig, it would be the third element, which is what you're using to connect to, if that makes any sense at all. Right, so my server is running, so we will see what happens. I've got this, whoops, right, very difficult to see, I'll show you better. This is just power going into my other Pico, so I plug that in, and it ought to do something eventually. Oh yes, yeah. Now that is pan. Now pan is the equivalent of yaw. Whoops, I need to take that out of the way. So that is just a fake yaw, so it's just turning itself round and round and round. But now if I do pitch, right, that is roll, whoops, and that is pitch. Well, my MPU 6050 is going all over the place, but you can kind of get the idea. And that is not using the internet at all. That is not using my router. That is just using my, my plane's going very, very drunk. It's just using, maybe I got a better, yeah, that's a better view of my plane doing all sorts of things. That is just using one Pico W as an access point, which is the server, and the other Pico W, which has the little plane flying around, as a client, and everything works. Sorry, dreadful video, but I hope you get the idea. Have I forgotten anything? No. Right. I will stop my video.